Hey guys, Hello Bella here. I had this video planned and a lot of you requested it. This is going to be a review of the last 4 years for me on Merch by Amazon. Can't believe I'm saying that. Seems like I just started and years go by and you realize you've been putting in work on something just a little bit at a time, day by day, and it's amazing to see how it has grown. So I will say that within the last 3 or 4 years, merch has not been my primary focus in life. There were seasons where I did not look at it for 6 months at a time. And then there's also been times where I worked on it every single day for anywhere between 4 to 6 hours at a time. So I've put a lot of time into this chair is what I'm trying to say. But without further ado, let's go into the numbers. So total royalties. Now this is the amount that I get to keep. I have to count my expenses out of this. That would be $71,040. So my expenses would be programs that I use for design, any kind of graphics that I purchase for commercial use, fonts that I have purchased for commercial use, anytime that I've ever hired a VA or a graphic designer to work for me. I don't really do that much anymore, but that was something that I had kind of experimented with in the past, and you can find some old videos that I made about that, hiring people from Upwork and Fiverr to work for me. Total sales on the account, 16,822, total returns 852, and total royalties per sale $4.22 on average, which really surprised me. I figured it would be closer to around $3 mark, but as a baseline rule, I've never competed on price. I think it's a weak strategy. I think that when you're competing on price, it's just a race to the bottom. You're going to be the one selling for $13.07 or whatever the amount is that you just break even. And for me, I don't work to break even. I work to make a profit. So that is why I've always priced my shirts a little bit higher, and they've continued to sell. The main thing is that you want to have something that is in demand and that is not in a completely crowded market. Anyways, I'll go up because this is what you guys had really asked me about. Now this is going to say analytics for the last 1,641 days, or analytics for the last 53 months or so. So I pulled up from January 2017 all the way to this month, which is the end of June almost. So you can see that my first month that I made money, I made $79.05, and that has progressed in 3 years to some of my best months where I made $7,000. So don't get discouraged if you don't see success immediately with this. This is something that has been something that I've worked on pretty consistently, and I don't like to compare myself to other people. I like to kind of say, okay, this is how much work I've put in and this is what I've gotten out. But in the last couple of months, I've really seen a big growth in my account. I've seen more consistently several $1,000s per month, even so much as going for the last 2 months $5,000 a month, and then this month, June, which is almost over, we've come in at $3,286 so far. So hopefully we'll break 3,300 for June. So taking a look back at my older months, month 1 $79, month 2 $75, and then it went up to 169, and then it went up to 367. I cannot tell you guys how excited I was that first month that I saw those numbers. I was just like, wow, this really is growing. And then from 367 we went to 669, and then up to 1,455, and that was in August. And then we went back down to 1,070, 1,024, and then all the way back up to $2,035 in 1 month. That was November, so that was a fourth quarter month. That was my first fourth quarter with Merch by Amazon, so $2,000 was very, very exciting to me, and it's still very exciting to me. Then December we dropped down to 1,476, and then I'll just kind of hover over because I don't want to go over every single one of these, but you can always pause the video if you want to see them in your own time. But what I've noticed is, obviously the more designs that you add, the more chance that you have to make a sale. It's basically like you want to throw as many shots up as possible so that you can sink as many baskets as possible. That's the way that I'm looking at it anyways at this point. And one of the things that I have considered, is should I have put more time into this? Obviously, yes. I didn't realize how big it was going to become. I didn't realize it was going to become a major source of income for me. And I didn't really know what path that was going to take in life. There was a period of having a Merch by Amazon account that I was in real estate for about a year and a half, and that was my primary focus. I did not think about Merch by Amazon at all. We always have those opportunity costs in life that I think that we look back on and say, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but you know, you don't have the foresight of the information that you have today about a decision that you made 2 or 3 years ago. So my philosophy is to just kind of look back on it, say, okay, well, this maybe is something that I would have tweaked if I could, but this is the actual result and this is what we have, so this is what we're going to work with. Going forward in my Merch by Amazon account, I've certainly been more consistent. I've spent more time looking at some analytical tools that can make my job easier, because when you really look at it, if you can spend a little bit of money to make your job easier, I think it's just totally worth it, especially when you're in a business like this where there really is no cap to what we can upload when you get in the higher tiers. Right now I'm on the 20,000 tier. You know, by the time I fill all those slots and get moved up, you know, it just seems like 100,000 designs is just a massive amount of designs to have to come up with. When automation tools come into play, I think a lot of people think that that's cheating or whatever, but I mean, ultimately you are running a business, so you need to treat it as such. Going down to look at this, these averages per day really don't mean a whole lot, I guess, because this is over 4 years and my account has really changed. But on average, since I started doing Merch by Amazon, I've made $1,318 extra a month. So that's been a huge contributor to my income if you want to look at it like that. Looking at something that you can take as a side hustle and turn it into a consistent source of revenue, there's just not many things that are as easy and as accessible as Merch by Amazon. And I do understand that as a newbie, as a new seller, you are incredibly disadvantaged because you only have a couple of slots and you don't really know the ropes that well. So if you are watching this as a beginner, please don't get too discouraged. Just keep working at it. The majority of people will quit. So that's one good thing about life. I had a college professor tell me one time, like, if you just show up every single day and have a good attitude, you'll be doing better than pretty much every one of the people that you work with in all of your competition, because most people won't even show up. They won't do the bare minimum. So most of what I do in life and what I do in my business is just showing up, being consistent, and trying to get like 1% better every single day. Okay, now looking back on something that is kind of fun, record day, my best day ever on Merch by Amazon was $1,137, and this was on my birthday of last year, and I just think that is so crazy because I had written in my journal that day before that I wanted to, with my money, I wanted to be able to help someone and be able to do good things for other people. And it's almost like I manifested $1,000 day. I know that sounds really crazy, but if you believe in manifestation and you believe in positive energy and putting your energy into things that you want, I really do think that money will come to you and all the things you want will come to you ultimately. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then my best month ever was $7,168. This was back in November 2020. And I do hope to break that record this year. I would love to see a $10,000 month with Merch by Amazon this year. I think that it's very, very achievable, especially as we go into the end of the year, with it being the holidays. It's about time for me to start working on my holiday designs. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas will be just around the corner. Comes the same time every year, but for some reason it always sneaks up on me. Okay, this information is going to tell you about what products I sold. So 1,501 products sold. Just to give you some perspective, I believe I have around 13,000 slots filled right now, and this is 13.2% of all my products have sold. So not even 80-20 rule, this is more like 90-10 rule. Going down, we see that most of the revenue from my account came from the standard shirt. That is what is the bestseller on Amazon across the board for everyone. And then we've got 12% of revenue coming from V-necks, 8% coming from premiums, 4% coming from tank tops, and then we've got 3% coming from pop sockets, 2% from sweatshirts, only 1% from long sleeves, and 1% from hoodies. And then it drops down pretty drastically. Sold 66 tote bags ever. 40 of those Raglans, those guys are still hanging behind. I don't know when Merch by Amazon's going to give us some new products, but man, I would really, really love to see something new. I've been wanting forever for them to do like stickers and notebooks and maybe even like baby onesies. I know that I've done really well on Etsy with some of my designs in the onesies. So I haven't been messing with that lately, but I will possibly get into that in the future. Types of items that sold: 58% women. No secret to you guys, I've told you multiple times in my videos that I target what I know, which is the female demographic. Not complicated for me to go after my own gender, just makes sense to me. 32% men, 4% unisex, 1% kids, and then these colors are the colors that sold the most. Before we end the video, I will scroll down and let you take a look at some of the information that I find to be the most interesting, which is which shirts made me the most money. So what this is going to do is it's going to sort by which ones had the most sales, and then it's going to give you the royalties. So bestseller was a shirt that I've told you guys about multiple times. It seems like it comes up every other video. That shirt has been just a really good thing for me. So far it's made me $14,000. Totally thankful for it. I wish I had the foresight back then to know how well it was going to do, but since then I've pretty much gone into that niche and made as many shirts as possible. But that shirt contributed to $14,000 of the $70,000 that I've ever made on Merch by Amazon. And then coming down here in that same niche, we've got $8,880, and I believe the same niche, $3,146. So if you're seeing a pattern here, we've got around $25,000 that has came from 3 shirts, which is just insane to me. And then we've got standard shirt again. This one made me $1,224. That's one of my newer designs, I guess. I probably made that last year. This one is maybe $1,189, and then we've got a couple that, you know, are in the $1,000 to $900 range, and then it drops down pretty drastically. But what I can notice about this is that my evergreen shirts, shirts that sell routinely every single month, they don't have to have a holiday or some specific event to trigger the sales. Those are what make up the bulk of my Merch by Amazon income. They don't come from things that are trending. Trending things are awesome if you can catch the trend, but it's kind of like riding a wave. You ride it once, and then once it's over, it's over. So I don't typically go after that market. But as far as Merch by Amazon goes, these last 4 years have taught me so many fundamental business lessons that I didn't really realize I was learning when I was learning them. But now that I have learned them, I'm like, wow, that was really cool that happened. Back then, I think I was probably 22 when I started the account, 22, 23, and I'm going to be turning 27 this year, so it just seems like a different person started the account from the current person who is running the account. So we definitely go through those cycles of life where, you know, you don't really know what you're going to be doing, but, you know, I think it's good to start something. If you're scared, if you're a little scared, that's okay, but don't let fear stop you from ever, you know, moving forward with something, because the majority of people will read about businesses, but they'll never actually start one. In their head, it sounds like such a cool idea and such a good idea, but they just never pull the trigger. So I would really encourage you to pull the trigger on your Merch by Amazon account if you haven't yet. I think that, you know, in general, this is still a good thing to get into. As it has contributed to helping me pay off my house, helping me pay my bills, helping me buy gas and groceries, I can't recommend this more than I already do. But this has been a look at my Merch by Amazon account over the last 4 years. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did and you've enjoyed some of my other content, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, and if you give this video a thumbs up, it would mean a lot to me. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care until then.